Hello, divas, and welcome back to the channel. Today, I wanted to talk about my spooky season reading plan. Now, listen, am I giving Melissa McCarthy Bridesmaids overcommitted? Yes. If you've been here for a hot minute, is that in any way surprising to you? Right? So, listen. We'll see. We're going to do what we can do. Now, that said, I've done a little bit of math, and I think that I can do this. We'll see. But as you know, listen, I make my own rules. What you going to do? All right. So, oddly enough, I've never read Stephen King, which I think is a little wild. Well, I say that. It's a little wild and also not like 100% my genre, right? Like, I think that, tend to read more literary fiction. And while I think that he's masterful in his crafting, not maybe capital L literature, right? Like it's that literary fiction space, but I'm down to clown. And I love this story. I don't remember if I've seen the movie all the way through, if I'm being honest. Know the story really well, and I love parts of the musical. It's a very cult, but if y'all should go look it up. Yes? I'm trying to think who, there's like a Broadway diva who sang the mother. I'll put her here, and it's incredible. Like some of the songs are like next level, and that is of course Carrie, right? I also hear that I think he composes it like using what's it like news articles and like tells this story in a really interesting way. I thought about doing this on audiobook, but then when I heard the way he tells the story, I was like, I think I need to read the physical book. And like it's the trim size is so small, like I think I'm gonna be able to bust through this pretty quickly. We'll see. We'll see. And also, as I was talking about this, I did a big, on another platform, maybe like a de-influence my spooky season reading plan. And folks gave me a lot of really great advice. Was planning on reading Wicked, and everyone said, good God, don't. So let me know if I'm missing out. I think I read it when it first came out. I was not a spring chicken. So the memory's like a little vague. We'll see. I mean, in prep for the movie that's coming out, right? So, but anyways, doesn't matter because we're not reading it. But when I was asking to be de-influenced, someone brought up Salem's Lot, and they said, if you're gonna pop your Stephen King cherry, this is one to do it with. So I thought, let's throw them both on there, right? Now listen, on another platform, when I went through this like rapid fire, I had mentioned that I was planning to read this, and then some folks came out of the woodwork and were like, sis, don't. So what I may do is read Carrie first, like towards the beginning of the month, and then save Salem's Lot towards the end of the month. The problem is, and I do appreciate some of the comments you all have said that you do like when I argue with myself, which I appreciate. Also, welcome to my world, because that is the freak show that we put on here every day at Shea Cole. So the problem is that the person who suggested this to me is someone who I very much respect, and their taste is beyond exquisite. So we'll see. We'll see. And I'm going to be honest. So Stephen King, I mean, Carrie, I know, right? It's the very religious mother. Carrie's going to the prom. All of the bullies, they like drop pig's blood. I think it's pig's blood, right? On her at the prom. And then she's like, the telekinesis takes over and like burning shit down, right? Yeah. Anyways, I don't think it's been out for so long. I don't think I'm spoiling anything. I mean, I haven't read it, but I think I'm just like giving the highlights, right? Those are the big things. Yeah. Yeah. She can move things with her mind. I think she sets things on fire with her mind. Sounds really cool. Now, Salem's Lot, I know nothing. And I think I'm okay with that. So I apologize if you are coming to this video to get a brief rundown of Salem's Lot. I'm not the one to give that to you, and I do apologize. Maybe if I get to read it, we will for sure talk about it. But yeah, I think it's like zombies or like vampires. What is it? And with the small group of allies contain the evil that is growing within the borders of this small New England town, right? Isn't there always evils that are growing in this small New England town? but I thought it was maybe vampires. I don't know. But I'm going in blind kind of intentionally, especially even more exciting for me to go in blind now that I've had such like extreme responses to it. I think that's fascinating. So that's my little Stephen King adventure. Now this summer, I read Handmaid's Tale for the first time. And I was intending to read this next book directly after it, but I think this was during the International Booker, and I made the mistake, which I did not do for the Booker, that I was like reading other books at the same time as the International Booker long list, and so I didn't get through either the entire International Booker long list, and I also didn't get through the other books that I was planning to read. It was just a little bit of a Wile E. Coyote moment, and I was just living footloose and fancy free. Oh, I think that was right around when my birthday was. Y'all, we were having a moment. This was a birthday, and we were having a little bit of a self-exploration. Anyways, so I did not approach my reading with as much rigor as I think I need. And all of that preamble to say that the Testaments is on the docket for this month. Listen, might be a stretch for spooky season, but I feel like with everything going on, there is something spooky about it, right? Someone did leave a comment and say that there's like an uplifting element about it, which I'm intrigued by. Would love to see some light at the end of the madness. Yes. So we'll see. But I am excited to read this, particularly because it won the Booker, also because I love Handmaid's Tale. I've also heard mixed things on this. Someone like might have thrown out the term YA, which is a little surprising to me, but we'll see. So I'm excited. I'm down. I loved Handmaid's Tale. I love her writing. I think it's just like so beautiful. So yeah, I'm really intrigued, excited for that. And also, didn't they come out with a TV show that's going to be based on this? Now, the tricky thing with those TV shows is I remember Handmaid's Tale, I think the book was basically just like season 1 of the TV show, and then they did their own thing, which wasn't bad. I did fall off for various reasons, but like, maybe read this and watch maybe season 1 again of the TV show. We'll see. I don't know how faithful it will be. This next one is a bit of a twofer, and I'm not gonna lie to you, since we are a couple days into October, I have read both of these already. And it is Uketsu's Strange Pictures and Strange Houses. They're pretty great. Listen, I would love for you to read all of these with me this month. Might be a little Insanity the Musical, but if I can already tell you, I think that these would be fun to pick up. We'll go into more in depth about them, at like a wrap-up video, but you don't need to read one to read the other. Strange Pictures was out first, then Strange Houses. I think I liked Strange Houses more. So if you're only wanting to get down and dirty with one uketsu first to see how you like it, I might start with Strange Houses. I feel like the narrative is just like a little more mature, and I love what he does with the end. It's a wild, cuckoo, crazy. So one of the cool things about uketsu is these two works is he uses in this title, Strange Pictures to like drive the narrative forward. And let me show, this isn't really giving anything away. This is on like page 22. So here's an example of like 2 photos that are used in the work. And then throughout, as the work progresses, we use like different illustrations. Like here's one at the beginning of chapter 2, right? And so he uses this idea of art to propel the narrative forward. And I think he does it in a really clean, smooth way. It's very creative. It's very interesting. I think the story is great. I feel like the ending of this one kind of jumped itself, like undercut itself a little bit. But I really did enjoy it. Strange Houses does the same thing that Strange Pictures does, but it does it with floor plans. Like this is like, I can show you, this is like on the first page, right? This is one house, I think in Tokyo. It's really interesting. And so we use these house plans or floor plans throughout the work and different floor plans of different houses. And what do they mean? I think we get up to like 3 different homes and those. And everything isn't as it appears. We also dig deeper into things. I think it's done really well. Now, listen, I think with both of these, there's a little bit of a suspend your disbelief. And like, we kind of are like, you're being told a thriller, right? Like, there's not like, this isn't a hyper realism moment. But I think it's handled really well. I think these are really creative works. And actually, I think it was Strange Houses. I was down visiting family this summer in Texas, and the bookstore fairy like popped this into my purview, and I was like, interesting. And I was like, I'm gonna put that on my radar, and I put it on my little. I have a running, like kind of TBR ish, or like books that like catch my eye. And then someone else started talking to me about it, so I made the commitment, and I was like, well, it's come into my life twice. Picked them up, great, so excited. Now this next one. I fell in love with this author earlier this year when I read Victorian Psycho, and I had to pick up her first book, Miss March. Hello. I am so intrigued. It is set on the Upper East Side, and my understanding is like a socialite, and everyone starts talking about her, and then hilarity ensues. I thought that it was still kind of like in that horror space. Someone said it's a little more like satire, I think. But I feel like everything I've read about it throws in some sort of like, angle of like horror thriller kind of thing. So, I mean, I'm excited. Even if it's just like horror adjacent. Like, let's be honest, like, a lot of death in these, you know what I mean? There's going to be a lot of madness in the Stephen King. Margaret Atwood's like not light. So even if it is more satire than the others, I think it'll be a nice kind of like breather, right? And there's a quote here on the back saying it's like perfect for the social media era, which seamlessly transitions into my next read, which is If You're Seeing This, It's Meant for You by Lee Stein, who we love. Her TikTok is great. Y'all should go follow her on there if you are in the TikTok space. So I'm going into this one a little. I was sent a copy of this by her and I think her editor, or maybe Betsy's her publicist. I'm very grateful, and I missed this like launch party, which I was so bummed about, but it came with this amazing letter and these like tarot stickers, and the letter opens and it talks about Lee attending a Halloween party in Brooklyn dressed as Little Edie. I was immediately sold. And then I think she also said it was like a post Girls era, like the Girls the TV show, like moment. And I'm kind of working myself slowly through like a Girls rewatch. So it just like was perfect. And like, this is what they say on the back. Fates collide after a tarot influencer disappears from a decaying Hollywood mansion in this unnerving gothic mystery and audacious social comedy from the acclaimed author of Self-Care. I mean, that to me is just like right up my alley. Hello. A tarot influencer? I can't scroll 6 times on the TikTok without a tarot influencer coming up and telling me that this message is for me. So this book is for me. I'm really excited about this one, actually. I'm very, very excited. And I think that the bunny's name is Owen Wilson. It's like that's sort of kind of, I guess, like what I would maybe call like millennial shtick. And I mean that in like such a complimentary way. It's just like right up my alley. It's like, I feel like it seems like she's got her finger firmly on the pulse and is not afraid to like have fun with it. And like, I feel like tongue firmly planted in cheek. Yeah. So very thrilled for this. And I cannot wait to let y'all know how that goes. Okay, this next one I'm a little nervous about. I think we were on here somewhere, and I was talking about this one, and I started reading some of the descriptions, and it seemed real dark and crazy, but none of these are like super, super dark. So I was like, well, maybe we'll throw in one, and it's Red X. It's also very gay, which like I love to throw in, a gay book now and again. Shocker, I'm sure. So yes, I'm very excited. I think it's very dark. Very dark. I think I've heard it's very check your triggers going in. Set in Toronto. I think I'm ready for it. I'm gonna prep myself. Maybe this one will come like right after Miss March or Lee Stein's. Lee's might be a little dark too. Like I'm not quite exactly sure, but if Miss March is maybe a little bit more satire-y, I'll do a little more research. Maybe that one will come right before Red X. But I am looking forward to it. It's been on my bookshelf for a while. I think they were reading it in a book club at the Chicago Soho House maybe, and I like picked it up and then didn't go to the book club. But I have the book, so like I'm down. And this one, y'all, we have been talking about this one for too long. I started reading it. I think I'm like 100 pages in, and then I got distracted and, well, not distracted. I reevaluated my reading commitments, and so this one fell kind of like below, and it is The Buffalo Hunter Hunter. Actually, I think I blame the booker because I think that I was reading this and then I think I put it down because I didn't finish it at the end of the month, and then the booker so The Buffalo Hunter Hunter. Listen, I was loving it. I only stopped it because of these competing like commitments, but like I'm really excited for this one. Yeah, it's vampire-y and very indigenous. It's the writing is really cool. It's very like thick and like almost like kind of baroque. I'm into it. I'm really excited to see what they do with this. And it's still, I think, on that like ever updating New York Times best books of the year so far lists. Yeah. Which it's one of my favorite lists at the end of the year. So I'm intrigued. Hopefully I will have read a chunk of them. And hopefully I agree with them this year. There's always, I think, at least one, if not two, every year that I'm like, side eye. I wonder which editor it is. I wonder if it's like consistently the same editor. You know what I mean? That would be interesting. I wonder how, like, who votes on the list or who kind of like compiles it. Would it be one editor or multiple? I don't know. I'm intrigued though, because it's always one, if not always two, that I'm just like, because you know they do the top 5 fiction books of the year. I think they also do 5 nonfiction, but I tend to focus on the fiction. Anyways, but this is on their like running list, which they update. We're on a tangent. You're welcome. Or you can double speed this if you're not interested. So they do a list. I forget when they first published it, but it was earlier in the year, and that's what turned me on to this book. And then I got really excited by it, and I was like, oh, okay, I'll pick it up. And instead of evolving the list as the year goes, they edit the article, but they just add books to it. I don't, what? Because we can't even keep up then. I guess then they're like, from a marketing perspective, they're giving it away too far in advance maybe, but like, I don't know, just adding to it feels a little side-eye. All that to say, now, this one, I am excited about and I am going to read it. So the internet was talking a lot about it. And now y'all aren't talking about it anymore, which makes me feel like y'all were excited about it because you loved the author, and maybe the book was just okay, which bums me out a little bit. And that's Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil. I know very little about it, just that everybody loved it, and I think vampires. I think there's like a lot, like I think we span a long period of time, if I remember correctly, and like maybe a little like sapphic, I think. 3 young women, their bodies planted in the same soil, their stories tangled like roots. One grows high and one grows deep and one grows wild, and all of them grow teeth. I mean, that's kind of hot. So yeah, we shall see. But I hope that it delivers, because again, the internet was all a Twitter and now relative silence. So if it was not good, I would just love a little honesty. Because I think, as we have proven, hopefully on this channel, there is a way for us to have opinions with substantiation about things that do not work for us. And actually, and I've kind of borrowed it or repurposed that lovely message from the booker about like, we're all reading the same books, but they're different books. Or we're all reading different books, even though they're the same book. You know what I mean? Which is okay. It's okay. Maybe that's the difference too, is that like I think some people like kind of put their opinions out there as if they like need people to agree with them. And that's just like, that's not this channel. I don't need you to agree with me. It's more interesting if you don't. Hello. We've already talked about that too. That would just be like a whole nother repeat of a soapbox. Simon Savage and I, our Savage Reads, are buddy reading, well, what is it called again? What Hunger? And we call this the Raspberry Book. I'm so excited. I was sent a copy of this from the publisher. I need to put that out there. And Simon loves raspberries, and we were super into it. Is it like spooky season? I'm not quite sure, but I think so. My understanding is about female rage, and all of a sudden she like gets this like hunger for raw meat, and like what kind of raw meat I feel like is like intentionally left vague. So I'm intrigued. There's also something like wildly sexual and also brutal and like animalistic about this cover. I'm obsessed with this cover. Though Simon and I are going back and forth about like the best fruit. Comment what your favorite fruit is, because a raspberry is his. And like, fine. I'm not going to turn down a raspberry. Maybe ever. I love a raspberry. But like, I mean, a cherry is the best fruit. Yes? There is nothing greater, come with me on this journey, than walking through, and this might be New York specific for me, but like just in a hot, sweaty summer place. That can be anywhere. You're out, you're sweaty, you have like a bag that's just like got one too many books in it, you're just vaguely disgruntled, you might even have a little blister on your feet, you know what I mean? And you had to go to work, and like maybe you had to wear pants that day. And you get home, and let's say you're the first one home, so the AC is not on yet. Throw your bag down. Personally, I rip off my shirt. I go to the AC, I turn it on. Then I go to the refrigerator and I take out my washed cherries, and I go and I sit in front of the air conditioner and I eat my cherries as the sweat dries on my body, and I just revel in the cold sweetness of the delicious cherry as my body is being cooled. It is one of life's greatest joys. Listen. And I won't hear otherwise, Simon, because I know you're going to get in those comments and you're going to be all, not that, raspberries. Well, cherries. What do y'all think? Anyways, that's so unnecessary, but I hope you have that experience. I hope that for most people. Very, very, very few I don't, only because, you know, they're the worst. But like for everyone else, I wish that experience for you. And I'm going to finish, this is not really spooky, but also is. I'm going to finish 2666. We'll have a long conversation about this book. I'm almost done with section 4. There's in 5 sections, parts. I don't know exactly how, parts, 5 parts. I'm almost done with part 4. Part 4 is, I know it's going to be more, it was more intense, like graphically, than Strange Houses, I think, and Strange Pictures, which are not graphic. I wouldn't know if I call them graphic, but like dark. It's too much. So this is like a bit, like but it's also brilliant. So it's going to be a good conversation, but just on my quest to read the New York Times top 10 books of the 21st century, which I'm thinking about doing the next 10 next year. Let me know what y'all think. We'll obviously do like a whole video dedicated to the New York Times top 10 books of the 21st century, because I'll finish them soon. Yeah, but this is part of that quest. So let me know if you think that is good. I'm also thinking about reading like some Booker Prize winners, doing that as kind of like a year-long quest, like saying I'm going to read from year X to X and then working through that slowly throughout the year, so that like, you know, in spooky season, we'll have like one that's like spooky adjacent, but it's like kind of wedged in there thematically, and do that throughout the year. I don't know. What do y'all think? That is my spooky season reading plan. Do y'all have one? Is it crazy like this? Let me know. Also warn me against any of these because I'm saving Salem's Lot to the end. So if you have a strong opinion one way or the other, you get in the comments. But just know, like, I really, really respect this person. Like, I don't want to like say who it is, but like, really, really respect their taste through the roof. So, but yeah, but some other people that I really like, and like, I mean, I respect them to a different degree. Like, like several in the comments have been like, brah, not Salem's Lot. So yeah, let me know. I'll save it towards the end, but now I'm almost even more intrigued to read it. So we'll see. But yeah, I hope you all have a lovely spooky season and you all pick the book that matches the spooky season you want to have. Yeah. Which one do I want to have? I don't know. I think it is all over the place, just like my vibe. Yeah. Anyways, I'll see y'all next week.